What's good everyone, I'm Zayas, and today I'm here to review Yankee Juku at Iku, aka Yankee Goes to Cram School by Hikaru Akari. This was his first serialized work and was published in Young Magazine Weekly, which has had a ton of great series, stuff like Akira, Shinjuku Swan, Dragon Head, just to name a few. He then went on to work on Bokutachi ga Yarimashita in that same serialization with Muneyuki Kaneshiro, in what I consider to be both of these authors' best work. I can't really talk about any of his current works because they haven't been translated yet, but the sequel to this work is actually being translated. It started a couple months ago, so I think there is some hope that eventually these will get translated. What caught my eye right away with this work is the artwork, which is really gritty, visceral, and violent. A lot of Delinquent series do have these qualities, but I think this artwork kind of takes it to a next level, especially with how ugly these characters look, and it makes the fights seem more serious because they're a little more scary, but at the same time it also makes the comedy work a lot better because it's a lot funnier when these super scary looking delinquent dudes are just messing around. When your characters are middle schoolers and they look like they've been taking dangerous substances for over 10 years straight, that's when you know you got that real delinquent shit. The girls weren't drawn in the same crazy, ugly, scary art style that he used for the guys, which I think was probably for the best because when you look at the girls he did use that art style on, they were kind of terrifying. And although I think the art style is good overall, there are some clear areas where it is lacking. I think in particular the fights are kind of a letdown, with them only lasting maybe 1 or 2 pages, and usually it just being over very quickly without much action. And although stylistically I did like this art style, I do think the execution brings it down a bit. There are parts in here which can get messy. There are parts where the shading feels kind of off and things just get thrown off a little bit. And there really are no crazy good scenes in here. Ikarishi, sorry for butchering all these names, is a very good main character. I'd say he's really the main appeal of this whole story. He's the strongest character in the series and has a pretty scary face, but he tries to avoid fighting unless necessary, for example, like when he has to help his friends out. He seems very caring, always trying to take care of his friends. He also seems pretty thoughtful, always trying to help people in need who might need like an eraser or something like that, but also taking care to not trample over his friend's pride when he thinks they're going to lose a fight. He's a very chill, cool, quiet protagonist who happens to get himself in some funny situations, and this all kind of made me wish that he was kind of the central focus of the series a little bit more. The side characters, aka his friends, do get their moments every once in a while, but it's pretty rare, and usually they just end up feeling kind of one-dimensional and less interesting. Mostly they're just there for jokes and maybe a couple fights, and I'd say the ending of the fights is where you get to see the cool moments from them, but then again it's only like one fight each, and usually the jokes revolve around one guy kind of acting like a clown and the other guy kind of being into girls who aren't conventionally attractive. The comedy in this series was pretty solid. It wasn't like a joke punchline type comedy, rather it was more like these situations which were really absurd and amusing just coming up all the time. Some of my favorite moments are when Ikarishi is taking a dump and these dudes are trying to talk to him, all these delinquents, but he seemingly doesn't care at all and just continues on with his business. Or when he declares that he wants to be an astronaut and you get this funny looking picture of him in an astronaut suit, which really does not look right. Not only is it a little bit funny, but it's also quite adorable and pretty admirable that this dude, the scary looking strong delinquent, is trying his hardest, studying his ass off, going to the cram school to try to become an astronaut and accomplish his dreams. And he's getting there. But the sad thing about this series is that other than the good artwork and the one good character, there's not really much more to this series aside from that. The whole plotline here is kind of weak. It was just kind of bouncing around between random fights between these delinquents, and it wasn't really compelling. The characters, really aside from the main character, were pretty lackluster. I'd say they were very mediocre. There was nothing too special about them other than maybe their designs. This series really didn't set out to do anything too grand or ambitious, but I think it accomplished what it set out to do, which is just make this fun little lighthearted delinquent story. I'm feeling like a light to decent 7. Thank you everyone for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment about manga, anything about manga, this manga, some other manga, whatever. And I'll see you in the next one.